And good evening and welcome to Showtime TV. I'm your host, Omar Rashada. I'm here with very special guest. She's the beautiful Jemimah Chucks. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
All right. It's been a while since we last interviewed. I think it was about a couple of, it was a good minute ago. I'm honored to have you back here on this Zoom Facebook Live. It's the first time we did Zoom Facebook Live. We were at the studio the last time. But you do a lot of things in your life. So just give just a brief synopsis of your educational background and your current work background.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jemimah Chucks. I'm a realtor in Delaware, licensed real estate agent. I'm a blogger. I'm a talk show host for the Jemimah Show. I do a lot of stuff. It's just, I'm an entrepreneur. So let's just put it that way. It's quite interesting. I'm so excited and honored to meet you. I'm from Nigeria. So I schooled in Nigeria. I got my first degree in Adeniro Ogunsoya College of Education back home in Nigeria. I came over here December 15th, 2013. I got married. My husband brought me over after 5 years of waiting for my, citizenship and everything. So right here, I'm a Nigerian American. So I'm a citizen now. Being in Delaware, it's been a blessing. I've lived in Delaware since 2013. I've done a lot of businesses. I own a media company called Fally Media, into graphic designs, websites. I'm a realtor. Like I said, I'm a mom of three. I'm a blogger. I'm a talk show host. I'm a community leader. I'm an author as well. As a community leader, I believe in empowering champions, building champions. So all I do is, I'm dedicated to, our community, helping the younger generation. As a young adult, I consider myself as a young adult because I'm in my 30s, early 30s. So I'm committed to helping other young people like me live the American dream, because since 2013 that I came here, I can tell that America is really beautiful and there's a whole lot of opportunities out here. And it's exciting to just, dabble into different things and finally in real estate, and it's going super awesome.
Okay, wow. So you have a famous lady here, ladies and gentlemen. I have a famous lady. She does it all. But being from Nigeria, when you came to America, was it like a culture shock from you for you because you come from another
Absolutely.
country? Yeah. Just talk about some of the things that kind of shocked you when you first got here compared to when you was living in Nigeria.
It was a huge, culture shock when I got here. First of all, it was the way the people communicated.
Okay.
So many things were not taken seriously. Like, I could just hear someone tell an adult, "Shut up." In Africa, that is a big thing. You can't just say "shut up" to your senior, like someone that is older than you, and it's like being rude. So it's just a whole lot. And my first job was in a doctor's office in Milford, Lilly Internal Medicine, Dr. Uduzulu. I worked there as an office assistant, and then I became one of the managers there as well. In the process of interacting with people, I really learned fast, but I was shocked at the way the communication sometimes, as an African, the way we communicate, it comes off a little aggressive.
Mhm.
And they receive it like you're being rude, but that's really how we talk. We're loud and we just joke, but it was a lot. Addressing the way things are done. It took me, I would say, 5 years. I mean, I'm trying to be honest, 5 whole years to
Right.
really learn the American culture. And I remember the first time I went to the beach, and being a religious person, I'm a pastor's kid and a
Mhm.
very religious pastor for that matter. So I remember the first time my husband took me to the beach and I saw people in bikini. I was like, oh my God. I was like, they're naked. Oh my God, they're going to hell. So it was really a lot, and
Right.
it took me a while to understand that America is different. But hey, truly, America is beautiful. Delaware is beautiful. It's exciting every day to learn more about, people in America.
Well, let me ask you, where you're from, how are the elders treated?
Oh, our culture is different, and that's another culture shock that I had as a Nigerian that came here. In Africa as a whole, or let's say Nigeria, we treasure our elders. So the way it's like a norm, it's just how we are. So when your parents raise you,
Mhm.
they give you the best that they can afford. They go out of their way to raise you. Okay. So when you grow up, you're expected that when they grow old, the culture expects you to raise them. You know what I mean?
Right,
Raise
right.
them all through to their grave. So they're your responsibility. And you can't talk back at your mom, your dad. You can't, you cannot be disrespectful. Oh, you get spanked. You get
Right,
whooped in your butt,
right,
like
right.
hot, hot, hot. And the thing about our culture is if you do something wrong outside in school, and come home and the teacher tells your mom, the teacher will, spank you in school and tells your mom will spank you as well. And then your neighbor in the community can spank you too. So if you do
Right.
something outside wrongly, the community, any woman that finds you out there can spank you and tell your mom what you did, and you get another spanking. So in Africa, a child is for the community. It's not just your child. So once you give birth, it's actually your child once you're carrying that baby in your womb. But once the child is born, it's no longer your child. It is a community child. So the community raises your child actually. So the elders are well taken care of. They are a responsibility. Like here, I take care of my elders back home. My mom, I finally brought her over here.
Mhm.
My mother-in-law and my uncles. So, put them on salary where we send money. It's our responsibility. So we'll work here and we don't just work for ourselves. That's why you see a lot of Nigerians, Africans as a whole. You might be wondering why we work so hard. We work so hard not for ourselves. We work so hard because we have a huge responsibility back home. We have families that depend on us. So it's just a culture thing that we have to take care of them, not just you. So your money is not just for you. Like I work hard to make sure that my cousins and my nephews and nieces can get good education. My uncles, and when they're in the hospital, I have to pay those bills. And so this is just how we Africans are wired, and that's why in the hospitals you see the doctors we pick extra shift, the CNAs extra shift.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, yeah. My doctor is Dr. Ogunwandi, and he was, man. He told me he haven't had a vacation in years because he has his two children are in college. So he's worked at just about every hospital. He has his own practice. I mean, he works
I
very hard.
know.
Yeah, yeah. And you were speaking on the community disciplining the child. My parents' generation. We're in America. It used to be like that. During my parents, the baby boomers generation, it was a
Right.
community. It took a village to raise a child, but somewhere maybe in the '90s or something,
Right.
it started to change. But I've met a lot of Africans here in Delaware, particularly women in Delaware from Ghana, Nigeria, Liberia. Have you established a network, or have you been involved with organizations where Africans from different parts of the motherland come together and meet and talk and network?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of them here in Delaware.
Mhm.
Actually, here we have all over the United States. I'll tell you, Africans are the most united community I've ever, known. Coming
Mhm.
here in 2013, I remember walking, out of the aircraft and I was worried, will I find my own people? And I was shocked. They were all over. And, they reached out to me from the churches. Yes, we have, for Nigeria, here in Delaware, we have the NCAD, the Nigeria, it's like a forum. It's only Nigerians, the Nigerian diaspora. So we have the NCAD, the Nigerian community, and our community, we have that. The Ghanaians have theirs, the Cameroonians have theirs, the Liberians. I mean, this is what I know because I know the leaders of these communities. The Liberians have their community. All the countries, the Sierra Leoneans and people from the Togolese, and everybody from every country in Africa, we all have our little communities. Now, together collectively, we have a commission that Governor Carney actually commissioned, a beautiful commission that he signed into law and empowered us. So this is the DACAC, the Delaware African Caribbean Commission, Caribbean Affairs Commission, I beg your pardon. So it's a big commission that it has people from, it's not just Africans alone from the Caribbean. So they have sitting presidents, they have, they're sitting commissioners, I think about 6 or 7 commissioners that, are for Delaware State. Now, they have the DACC, the Delaware African Caribbean Coalition, and we also have the DAC, the Delaware African Coalition as well. So these are just groups that we all get together, but at the end of the day, I'm part of all these groups, and we all fellowship together, and we just, support each other's businesses and affairs.
Right. You mentioned earlier that you really love it here in America, and I remember there were times when people say, well, those blacks in Africa, they don't care about the blacks here in America. What is your take on that? What has been your experience, and maybe other Africans that you talk to in regards to their relationship with African Americans here in America?
One thing you have to understand is that we are living in a different generation. Okay. We are living in a generation where most of the people my age don't even understand what the African Americans went through. Most young people from Africa, when they come here, they have no idea. They just see black people like, black. They're seeing that black, we sometimes when we were back home, we had a mentality that America is full of only white people. And so some of us, when we come here and we see black people, we're like, nice. Maybe this is an African that's been here so long. And then we take time. I mean, I'm talking about young people my age. A lot of young people don't even know the black history, what happened, the slave trade, because we were not the ones that did the slave trade. So sometimes some of us, our parents did not tell us, but my case is different. I know because it happened in my family. My grandfather told me the story. His eldest brother was sold as a slave, and they kidnapped him, and they never saw him again. So we have pictures in my family. We have history of how my grandfather witnessed the slave trade. It was right under his, he escaped when they caught him, but his brother could not escape, and the brother was sold. So till today, we believe that my great grand uncle is probably here in America. So what I'm saying is, most of us don't know the story if our families don't tell us. So when you come here, we see African Americans as our brothers, but some of us don't know the pain and the suffering that they went through. However, when I did my research, African Americans feel funny about Africans because they feel like we sold them, but we did not sell them. If you take your time, the problem with the world is that sometimes we just go by what social media tells us, but we don't even have time to make research. So if you take out time as an African American to do a research, you will find out, even the movies has it, you will find out that Africans did not willingly sell their families, to the white man when they came during slavery, but they were captured. There were so many atrocities that were committed in Africa under the sun that only God can actually expose. So many things, and Africa not having guns and all those. So if you look at history, it's deep. Okay, so I always tell African Americans that we are one. When I come here, I love African Americans, and I've witnessed a lot of love and prejudice from African Americans, and I take my time to actually say the same thing to them. I say, this is a different generation, and until we'll come together, Africans and African Americans, we cannot win this battle of racism, because at the end of the day, when you look at me, I'm black. I will always be black. So you can't tell if I'm African American or if I'm African. So we all have one battle to fight, and we have to come together to win this battle.
Right. I've had several entrepreneurs that I've interviewed thus far, and you're one of them. So I'm going to ask you the same questions I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked them. At what point did you decide that, I'm not going to work for anybody, I'm going to work for myself?
Oh, wow.
I
That's
mean, because I admire entrepreneurs. I really do. I mean, it's a challenge, but it's also rewarding.
I know, right? It is. First of all, when I was in Africa, I had my own business. You know, I was an
Oh,
entrepreneur.
okay.
So I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my entrepreneurial journey from 16, from the age of 16 back home. I did a lot of businesses, and I got married at the age of 22. And I remember coming over here in my, I was about 26 when I came here or something like that.
Right.
So coming here and not knowing how to start my business, it was challenging. I came here with a mindset to start. So I had to get a job first, at the doctor's office to,
Okay.
start working so I could save up capital to start my business. And I worked at the doctor's office for 2 years, and I saved up capital, and I began to buy yard sale. So I would go, drive around on Saturdays, and I'll buy yard sale, and I'll ship a 40-feet container and send it to Port Harcourt, Nigeria, where my mom would help me sell. And that's how I started. So I got my CNA license. I became a CNA. I began to work double shift. I continued working that way. I was going to go into nursing. And then I found out that no, I'm an entrepreneur, business. I love business. I can't be a nurse. I'm not called to be a nurse. I mean, the system wants you to be a nurse. I don't want to be a nurse. So one day I woke up and I just dropped my badge. I was in nursing school, and I just woke up one day. I was sick of it. I was like, no, look, I'm going to be a miserable nurse, and these patients deserve better. I mean, I don't really have to be a nurse. And I dropped my badge and I said, today is that day. I'm gonna go into this business full time, and I'm gonna go on a head-on collision. I don't care what happened. So I put in all my energy and all my time into it. So that was when I launched my company, Folly Media, where we do graphic, because I'm a graphic designer. I build websites. These are things that I'm a creative person. So I began to do it. Shockingly, everything exploded. I had a couple of churches and organizations and companies that I was running their social media pages and everything. And I started getting enough income to sustain my family and myself. And I never went back to work with anybody or work for anybody again. And then last year, I've always wanted to be a realtor, to live my American dream. And then I walked towards, getting a license, and I got a license, and I just, went in straight. One thing that I would tell you is, if you want to stop working for some other person, then, while you're on that job, do everything you can to set yourself up before you leave. And when you start, just go. Don't quit your job and say, I don't want to work for another person because I want to be able to relax. I want to be able to make my schedule, or I don't want to work so hard. I'm working so hard in this company. I want to start my own so I don't have to work this hard. No, that's a lie. When you start your own business, let me tell you, you're going to work 4 times as hard
Right. Right.
than you were working when you were getting paid.
Oh,
You know,
definitely.
because if you don't put that much energy at the onset of your business, then it will collapse, and then you will not be able to pay your mortgage, your rent, and then you just get frustrated. So that's just my advice for you.
Right. Okay. Real estate. Let's talk about real estate, because you're just killing it out there, just selling houses after house after house. I mean, I look at your Facebook page, and it's like almost every week you sell a house. I mean, you're so awesome. But so let's say I'm looking for my first home. Okay. What's the first thing that one should do when they first start to think about buying a home? Let's start there.
Oh, awesome, awesome. Thank you. It's been exciting being in real estate. I love real estate. It just makes me happy, to be a realtor, to just help people get in their home. First thing, if you want to buy a house, the first thing to do is get a realtor. That's the first step.
Okay.
The first step is to get a realtor and tell this realtor, I want to buy a house. And the realtor is going to break down all these things I'm about to tell you now. No, the reason why you need a realtor is because this is their profession. Just like when you're sick, you go to a doctor. When you want to build a house, you go to the architect and they draw out a plan. So the realtor draws out this plan and now gets all the parts together. At the end of the day, it makes sense and you move into your home. That's what the realtor does. The first thing you do when you want to buy a house, when you talk to a realtor, Now, and you need good credit. Before the COVID-19, the minimum credit score for you to qualify for a loan is 620. But now, because of the COVID-19, it's a whole lot of stuff that has changed, and the lenders are looking for 640. So, I mean, some people would tell you 620, they're still doing 620 here and there, but you know, to be strong and not let your process fall through, I always tell my clients 640 is you know, is a good start. And after good credit, your income, you want to make sure, I mean, these homes are beautiful. These homes, I mean, my
Right.
dream home is probably over $2 million, you know, but I
Ooh,
can't afford it right now.
man. Right.
You know, I just want to live by the beach and just have everything in my house, but I can't.
But
So
that's a
that,
mansion.
I know, right? Yeah, and this is where you need that advice, you know, the professional, you know, the professional realtor. That's where we come in
Okay,
and we advise you.
can I stop you just for a moment? You said first thing to do is just get a realtor. Okay,
Yes.
there are so many realtors out there. How do you go about finding the right realtor? Okay.
So you need a realtor that can relate, you know, to you, you know,
Okay.
that can relate to your struggle, that can understand you. So you have a right, let me tell you, you have a right just the same way that you go for job interview. This
Mhm.
is your money. This is your investment. You
Right.
have a right to interview realtors. You don't have to work with the first realtor you talk to. So,
Okay.
you know, you need to find that one person that can relate to your pain, to your struggle, that can appreciate the fact this is a dream, this is a goal, this is a big thing. Like this is, you're buying $100,000 home or $400,000 home. That's like a debt that you will carry for the next 30 years of your entire life.
Right.
So you need to find a realtor that will celebrate that, cherish that, and actually appreciate this burden you're about to carry, you know, for the rest of your life. So the best way to find is to interview realtors and tell them you want to, you know, buy a house, and just hear what they have to tell you, you know, and based on that, you know, your spiritual, you know, your spiritual, you know, will resonate with one. And if he works out and you say, hey, this is the one I want to work with, I think she can relate to me, he can feel my pain, and I'm comfortable. You just share your vision with them and see what they respond towards you.
Okay. Okay. No. Okay. So once again, I'm looking for my first house. Take me step by step. What I should do.
Sure. First, when you get a realtor, your credit score has to be 640. Your income has to be, I always say, I mean, a family is supposed to be maybe twice the mortgage, your mortgage. I always tell people, if possible, 3 times, you
Right.
know, of your mortgage payments. For example, let's just make it minimum. Let's just say twice. So you want to buy a house and you make, I'm just going to use numbers, okay? And you
Okay.
make $2,000 a month, and you want to buy a home. Now, $2,000 a month, it means that $1,000 is going to go towards your monthly payments, your mortgage. And the rest of the $1,000 is going to go towards your light bill, water bill, all these bills you have. Now, you ask yourself, after that, is that enough? Now, if that's not going to be enough to sort all your bills, that means you need to make more money, maybe 2,500. 2,500, you know, then you'll be able to comfortably pay that $1,000 and then pay your bill and have at least $500 in your savings account every month, you know? So this is how you check to see where you are. Now, based on that, when you talk to you know, a realtor, she will direct you, or he will direct you to a loan officer, which is a mortgage lender. They will
Mhm.
give you the education, and they will pull your credit score and then check your income. But like I said, your income has to be at least twice. Now you ask yourself, can after, you know, can $1,000 pay for a house? Now, they will pre-approve you based on your income and credit score and your debt to income ratio. Now, even
Yeah.
if you make 2,500 and your debt to income ratio is like crazy, maybe you're owing Discover card, you're paying $200 on Discover card, you're paying for your TV, you're paying for your car, you're paying for all this stuff. And at the end of the day, there will be not enough funds to pay your mortgage. Then your interest rate may end up being so high. Now they can get you Delaware State Housing Help. They can get you the FHA. Now conventional is different. Conventional is a different one, the VA or USDA. So this is, I think these are just what the lenders will look at. The lenders will tell you more details, and that's why you need a loan officer. So the first thing is to get a realtor. The second is the realtor will actually ask you about your credit score, your income, and then the realtor will transfer you to a loan officer who will check all the financing and give you the education. And
Yeah.
once you get a pre-approval letter, you come back to your realtor, and then the realtor will take you around to tour the house after giving you education on how the process goes once you're under contract. I always advise people not to go see a house if you don't have a pre-approval, because that's a waste of your precious time and a waste of the realtor's time. And then at the end of the day, you end up being depressed, because what's the point of seeing a house you can't buy? The homes are flying off the market, selling in 24 hours now. So if you don't even have a pre-approval letter, there's no point liking a house. So it's always better to have a pre-approval. And then you start with a realtor, the loan officer, and then you buy the house, and then you get under contract, and all the paperwork the realtor takes care of until the day of closing, where we say sold.
Right, right. Okay, so someone who's buying their first house, what are the benefits of participating in the first-time home buyers program?
There are lots of benefits, incredible benefits. The Delaware State Housing Help. Delaware State has different housing scheme that supports first-time home buyers, and the transfer tax, 2.5% paid by the seller for on behalf of the buyers. There are just so many benefits out there, and until you're ready and you talk to a realtor, it depends on what your income is. Now, remember, Kent County and Sussex County is different. Newcastle County is different. So if you're a first-time home buyer from out of state or in state, the FHA cutoff bracket is different amounts from the Newcastle County. Kent, Newcastle is different. So these are what the realtors, as a first-time home buyer, they're beautiful benefits out there. But the benefits is not just for people that have the money. The benefits are for people that can afford it, trying to support everybody live the American dream. So let's say you make a whole lot of money. Of course, the transfer tax is definitely paid by the seller. That's like a culture thing here. It's not like it's a law, but it's a culture thing here in Delaware. But as a first-time home buyer, I will always say, talk to your loan officer and say, I want all the benefits. And when they check your income and check your level, then they will portion, what's available to you, based on the interest rate. Of course, they'll give you the education, because the more free stuff you get, the higher interest rate you're going to get. Because at the end of the day, the government has a way of getting it back. Of course, nothing is actually as free as, we make it look.
Right, right. I had a recent conversation with someone, and they were saying, you know what, man, by me renting, I'm just giving money away, constantly giving money away. Why not just buy a house? So what are the advantages of buying a house as opposed to renting an apartment or even a house?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Lots of benefits buying a home, of course. I mean, equity, you can, you can't over. For instance, let me tell you my story. So 2013, I came to the US, and like I said, December, and I drove by all these beautiful homes, and I love it. I told my husband, why are we renting? We should buy a home. He was like, girl, you just got here. Me a slack. I can't even afford a house here. I was like, no, we're gonna buy a home. So I told him, get me a realtor. He was like, oh my God. So he got me a realtor, Natasha Kingelover. Most of you know her. She's a very awesome realtor, and I really love her. So she came and she asked me, what's your credit score? I was like, credit? What is credit? Because I didn't even know what credit was. So she gave me the education, and eventually we built my credit from 0 to 703. And we bought the house. Now, my story is, we bought that house, we bought that house in 2016, right? 2016, I'll just give you numbers. So we bought the house for $132,000 back then. And now, with the market, the house is worth about $225,000.
Wow, that's a big hike. That's a big hike.
Yeah, I'm sharing this. This is like me, my life, my house, and so this is the truth. And I turned around as a business person, and I told my broker, I said, look, I want to make that money. I want to sell my house. She was like, girl, you're crazy. I was like, yo, So I sold my house. My house is actually under contract now.
Wow, wow.
So that's the benefit. Like this is the best way I could explain the difference between renting and buying. You know, so now my house has all this equity. And again, my interest rate with a very good credit score that I had, 703, I got a very low interest rate, 3.5 then. And so my payment was you know, less than $900 a month. That's
Mhm.
ridiculously awesome.
Right.
But when we were renting, we were paying almost like $1,500 for like a two bedroom, one full bath. Can you believe that?
Wow,
But
wow, that's a
now I
lot.
have a full big giant humongous house that I live in, 3 bedroom with a finished basement with everything and corner piece, and I'm just paying less than $900 a month. I mean, so much space. So that's the difference. And then I turn around after 5 years and put the house back on the market. Now I'm gonna make all this money.
You mentioned equity. Can you define what is home equity?
So home equity is like what I explained to you. It's like the value, the way when your home appreciates.
Mhm.
You know, after a certain number of time that you've owned the home, it appreciates. So you can actually refinance, take out the money or put the money back in the house to pay off your mortgage. Your loan officer will actually be the one to explain better because like that's not really my lane. But the little one that I know is, for instance, I bought that house and after 5 years, I bought it 132,000. And after 5 years, my house is worth 225. So if you subtract 132 from 225, that lump sum amount, that's the equity that my home has actually accumulated after 5 years of ownership. And I could take out that money by either selling it and taking out that money and paying my tax, and then that get put the money in my account and use it for business, which is what I'm going into flipping. So I'm going to use the money to start my flipping business. And so that's home equity. Or, you know, you can sell it and use it to buy a land and start building. You know, there's just equity is basically, you know, when your home appreciates, the house appreciates, the sum, like the value that you can get out.
Okay, let me give you a scenario. So someone's living in a house for 7 years, and they need or want repairs. That they need, maybe they want to do a new kitchen floor, some new cabinets, painting, and just build the home up looking very pretty. What's the process if they want to get a loan to make repairs or to make the house more decorative?
Yeah, we have loan modification. I think that's called loan modification.
Okay.
And that's done by the loan officer. So there are different kinds of loans that you can get, different kinds of financing. I know the FHA, when you want to buy a house, you can get the FHA loan and you can get the FHA loan for remodeling. So that's like remodeling a house. So there's a different kind of loan and the different interest
Okay.
rates. Of course, you can get loan for that. Yes, you can. The lender will definitely explain and give you different options and, you know, what your cons and pros are.
Right. You know, the house I live in now, I bought. Well, everything's finalized. I moved in June 30th, 2009. And that was the year that Michael Jackson had passed away, because not too long after that,
Oh, yeah.
he had passed away. So that's an easy year for me to remember. But one of the things that the lender did that was totally unexpected was they sold my loan to another lender. And I had no idea that they were going to do that. Talk about the process. Why would one lender sell your loan to another lender?
For that question would be best for the loan officer, but I'll tell you what I know.
Okay.
So there are mortgage companies and there are banks. You know, you have the Fannie Mae. These are like, you have the secondary market and you have the, you know, the banks and the, you know, let's just say the big boys and the little boys. Okay.
Right.
So the mortgage companies are basically like the little boys, and the, you know, these other people are like the big boys. So eventually, the mortgage company is when your loan is sold to the bank, it does not really change your loan. It does
Right.
not really change anything, but it's just that it gives you some kind of proper management and accountability. And, you know, it doesn't really affect your interest rates or anything, but it's just that, you know, they get this client and they help you through the process, and then they move you to the big companies that will end up managing your loan. The big companies will buy it from them, like Wells Fargo, TD Banks, and all those stuff. They buy these loans from your mortgage loan from the little mortgage companies. But I don't think, I mean, if I'm correct, I'm not sure, that's not my expertise. I'm a realtor,
Right.
not a loan officer, but if
Right.
I'm correct, because mine was sold too.
Okay.
Mine was, I got my loan through Meridian Bank, and then it was sold to Wells Fargo, which is awesome. Meridian Bank was awesome. Wells Fargo, I've been with them since they got my loan from Meridian Bank. It's been amazing. You know, there's
Right.
nothing changed. I was informed and I was given the education. And on the day of your closing, I've done a lot of closings this year, settlements. The attorney tells you that your loan can be sold, and they ask you, is that okay with you? Once you say yes, they inform you and you sign the paper. It's okay. It doesn't change anything. It's not something to be worried about. So long as your interest rate is not affected and your monthly payments is not increased and all that, then it's nothing to worry about.
Okay, so he may have asked me, I mean, and I probably forgot. I mean, so much paperwork. I remember
Okay.
signed away. Reverse mortgage. What is reverse mortgage? And is it only for seniors?
Reverse mortgage, I can put it this way. Reverse mortgages, I mean, mostly seniors use that. It kind of gives you lower interest rates. That again, that's for a loan officer. It gives you very lower monthly payments. Let me use numbers. I like to work with numbers just so you
Yeah,
can
sure.
understand better, because sometimes all these big words kind of does not help.
Right.
Um, I once had a client that her house, a big, a 4 bedroom, 2.5, a 3.5 bath. It's really beautiful, and she wanted me to sell the house. And then when I asked her what she was paying, and that kind of a beautiful home that's like less than 10 years old, I know that the monthly payment should be like around $2,000. But
Mhm.
then, at least then, and plus the location where the house is. So then she told me she pays $800. I was like, how? And then I found out that she had a reverse mortgage. So when the rates are low, it's really, really low, and then your monthly payments are low. But when the rates are super high, it's just, goes back both ways. Like I said, I can't really explain much about reverse mortgage, but
Right.
I would say if you really want to know much about reverse mortgages, I would say talk to a lender. They would tell you the difference. A lot of people are doing reverse mortgage for some reason. It depends on what you want, what works for you, or the time frame. If you want to pay off your house in 5 years or in 10 years, maybe reverse mortgage might be better for you. If
Right.
you want to, keep the house for like 30 years before you pay it off. So it just depends on the plan of what your vision is. Then you can choose the kind of mortgage that you want before you buy a house. And that's why you need a realtor. Like if you come to me and you ask me, I want to know if I should get a reverse mortgage or this or that, I would say, sure. And what I would do is I will call the loan officer I work with, Makisa, and I'll say, hey, I have a client that has a lot of questions, and I'll set up an appointment. You sit with her, and she just downloads everything to you. Yes, that's why I say talk to a realtor, because we have all these professionals, we have the attorneys, we have everybody that we work with, and we just refer you to the right people that will guide you for that process. Real estate is a big, broad process
Right.
that, we're all professional. We have our license, all have our licenses to protect. So everybody stays on their lane, and we work with all these people together.
Right. Okay, on the opposite end, I want to talk about if one wants to sell his or her house. So someone comes to you and says, Mama, I want to sell my house. Okay, so what's the steps? What's the process for one who wants to sell a house? We talked about buying a house, but what about
I
one who wants
know.
to sell?
Awesome, awesome. Yes, this is a very great time to sell a house. And by the way, if you have a house and you're thinking about selling, give me a call, 302-359-8337. That's my number. Very importantly, I have over 10 clients that I'm trying to get them a house. I haven't found anything. They haven't found anything that they like in Delaware. So maybe your house might just be the one. I've had a home sell in 24 hours. So maybe
Wow.
yours is next and you make that money. So the process of selling your house, you give me a call and I'll come, do a walkthrough. I'll take a look at the house. There are so many things that could sell your house faster, like hardwood floors. Some people don't want to deal with carpets, and
Right.
so they prefer hardwood floors. How old is the HVAC? How old is your roof? It's not really about the furniture. The furniture has nothing to do with it. Does your house have a fireplace? How did you take care of, the sidings, and the neighborhood sells a house faster
Right.
too.
Right.
What are the features in your, how many bedrooms and bath? Does he have a master's bathroom? Do you have, a bath downstairs? What do you, so these are the few features that your house should have that will sell it. One other thing that is everybody's very interested in, a lot of people though, not everybody. A lot of people are interested in open floor plan. People want to be able to be in the kitchen, like in time of Thanksgiving. I really hate to be in the kitchen cooking and my family's in the living room and they're watching their favorite movie and I'm just there. It's sad.
Right.
I hate
Right.
it.
Right.
So
Right.
this is why everybody loves open floor plans, so that when you're in the kitchen and your family, you can see the baby. Like I have 3 kids. I want to be able to see my babies, so you see all around the house. So that is a selling point. But if your house does not have it, so there are other selling points too. Like I said, a very well kept home. I would like to come take a look. The countertop, is it granite countertops? The vanity, is it double vanity or just one? All those stuff. Does he have a hot tub? Does he have a bathtub, a standard tub, or just one? So these are the features that people come in. So when I come in there, I look at these things and then I will go and pull your information and do a value estimate based on the homes that are sold in your neighborhood.
Right.
And how many garage does your home have? Does it have a basement? Is the basement finished? Is the basement unfinished? So these are the things that add, value to your house. If your basement is finished, that's good. Do you have a double garage? Is it one garage? It doesn't have a garage. Is there street parking? Is it, these things that how is the landscaping? All these things I'll put together and I can give you value estimate of what your house is worth based on the ones that are sold in your neighborhood that are the same kind of or similar home style or similar value, and then we put the house on the market, and then once we sign the contract and we put the house on the market. Now we will put the house on the market if your house is in move-in ready condition. Now if I come in and I see that your house need a couple of repairs here and there, I always advise my clients, don't put the house on the market, before repairs. Just finish the repairs before you put it on the market. And that's what my broker taught me, Audrey Alembruji, First Class Property. So she is a perfectionist and it has helped me as well. Because I've had that experience with my house. There are some repairs that I didn't do and I put it on the market. So by the time it's on the market and inspection comes, I might end up paying twice that amount to do these repairs that I should have done, before putting it on the market. And then you lose opportunity in terms of negotiation. Maybe this thing would have just cost you like $200 to just put the slide bulb, or to just clean out the basement or clean out somewhere, and you didn't do it. So by the time, after inspection, you end up paying like $2,000, and or your house could lose value for that.
Right.
Someone could
Right.
price your house $10,000 lesser than, because of
This.
maybe the light didn't come on or something threw them off. So these are the things I always advise. Yes.
Right. When one, let's say, for example, there are those who are watching, and someone wants to be a realtor. What's the process of becoming a realtor?
Interesting. With the COVID-19, it's like the most simple process ever. Now you just go to ce.shop, ceshop.com, ceshop.com. You can, is a legal and accredited body that you can take your exams and take your classes and exams online without even having to sign up with any school. But I know the ERA Harrington. I went to the ERA Harrington in Dover, and also I once attended the Omega Real Estate School in Newark. There's one called Omega Real Estate School, and I think Keller Williams also has a real estate school. So what you need to do is you just ask yourself, what kind of learner are you? What kind of a learner are you? Are you an online learner, or are you in classroom learner? For me, I'm both. You know, I could do online, I could do in class. It just depends on what my schedule and my business permits. And so at that time, my business and schedule permitted me, and I was able to attend this in class. I went to ERA Harrington School, and it was really amazing. And Omega, when I was at Omega too, it was really nice. So I know the classes are like 8 to 12 weeks. It just depends on what they're offering at the time. So you get this information from them, and the teacher is like intense, and you just get the books, and it's not expensive. I know I paid like $650, and then that was the max, and that includes the books. It includes the books, everything. And then you take your state and national, and once you pass, and you apply to the Association of Realtors, the Delaware Association, the National Association, and you get your license, and you're a realtor. Congratulations.
Right. I know
And
the top. I'm
sorry
sorry.
to cut you off. Finally, you have to, when you pass, you need to choose a broker. You can't work by yourself, because someone has to oversee. Of course, you wouldn't know anything, so you need someone to oversee you, just so you don't run away with people's money.
Right. You know,
Right.
I mentioned in the top of the program that on your Facebook page you post when you sell a house. Well, the people that you work with when they buy their homes, and you do that on a regular basis. It almost seems like it's every week. And with this pandemic, COVID-19, people losing their jobs, this, that, and the other. But you're still able to sell homes. I mean, I would think that because of COVID-19, the pandemic, and people losing their jobs, that their homes are not really being sold like that. But you proved me wrong.
I know. First of all, I give God the glory. I thank God for favor in this market. I thank God. I can tell you that it's not me, it's God. I'm shocked myself. You know how in God, this is my first year in real estate. Actually, I got my license in November. My license didn't come. I wrote my exam in November. I passed, and my license didn't come till January. And then I was like 9 months pregnant, and the baby came February 4th, and I had the baby, and then I didn't really start my real estate till like April, and let's say May. That was when I like got into it. Like seriously, I was just, and from that time till now, to God's glory, I've sold over. I just don't want to be exact because it's scary. I've sold over 20 homes. So from that time till now, and I'm very, very grateful to God for that. It's been God. With the pandemic, I would say that Delaware has never remained the same. The pandemic, coronavirus has the world all over the place. I mean, like everybody all over. I remember when I got that license, and we were hit by this coronavirus. I was worried. I was like, oh my God, what a year to get a license. We all thought that the real estate business will go down. But
Right.
shockingly, rather, it's like going higher, and the prices of home is going like so high, and we have Delaware is witnessing a rush, what I call a rush. We have a lot of people from out of state moving into Delaware,
Right.
and I mean, personally, this is my personal opinion. I think they're trying to leave the crowded cities, and Delaware, it's not crowded. Of course, we're
Right.
laid back here. So they're
Right.
trying to like, come here where we're more spread out, because the pandemic, is contagious, where everybody's like into each other. In Delaware, we have space. So New York is not like that. So New Yorkers are coming in here. So I think that helps our market. I think, I would just say a lot of my clients are out of state, and just a couple of people in here. It's been fun. It's been shockingly, I don't know, surprising. I mean, every realtor in Delaware is shocked. We're
Right.
all making sales, and Delaware has never seen anything like this before. My broker has been a broker for over 18 years. She says she has never seen anything like this.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So when you're working with your client and they buy their homes, they're happy, they're joyful, they're excited. What it does for you on a personal level when the people, the clients are buying their first home or buying another home and you see them happy, what does that do for you as a realtor?
Fulfillment, you know, it's fulfillment. I feel like God is smiling down. I feel like, you know, the opportunity to serve, like this is what I'm called to do. It's just that feeling of, you know, gratitude to God. And I just feel like this is like a ministry. This is what God is using me to help somebody. For, you know, like I told you my story, when I wanted to buy a house as an immigrant that just got here barely 2 years in America. I remember talking to a couple of realtors and they laughed at me. They never got back to me. The bank said no to me. So many people said no to me, but that realtor stuck with me, and I didn't give up, and I just kept pursuing that vision. I just kept building my credit. I was just doing everything I can, and finally, I got a home. So that led me to, you know, wanting to also help other people
Right.
get into their own home. You know, that touched me because I didn't know anything. I didn't have nobody to go to. And I started from zero credit. I had no credit score. I didn't even know what credit scores were. When I heard it, I remember one realtor was upset. Someone was upset with me for asking them what is credit because I didn't know.
Right.
So that my story inspired anybody to teach me, to coach me. I really wanted to. And then eventually, one of my friends at school, when she got her license, she told me about it. And I started, and I decided to make sure that everybody would have their dream home. We all deserve to be fulfilled. We all deserve to have a shelter over our head for our kids, you know, and that's the American dream. So because I'm living my American dream even above and beyond what I ever thought and where I thought I'll be, you know, at this time of my life, I want to help other people. So I get fulfilled. I feel blessed. I'm very excited that you know, someone is buying a house, and I do anything. I pick their calls at night. I drive. I live in Dover. I was just in Newark this evening. I go to
Okay.
Newark sometimes. I go to Wilmington sometimes twice. I go to the beach. Like I can drive the whole Delaware for my client to make sure you get a house. And that's how passionate, like to me, it's beyond just finding you a house. Is a fulfillment, is like a dream. And this is your dream. This is your goal. Hey, it's an honor to serve you.
All right, that's awesome, awesome. So let's talk about another part of your life, a talk show host. Talk about how you got started being a talk show host and what's the name of your show and what's it about?
The Jemimah Show. So you can find me at thejemimahshow.com, or you can find us at shows on YouTube. I started, you know, the funny part is I'm a writer. I love to write. You know,
Okay.
I started, I was just, my phone rang one day, and Mr. Wale Adela Gunja, who used to be the president of the commission, the Delaware African Caribbean Affairs Commission, called me, and with OB and Mr. Clement. So they own Delgate. It's a company that used to function then, but I think they're still there. They called me, they wanted to start a TV show, and they were looking for somebody, and they thought that I was the right person. And they interviewed me amongst interviewing other ladies, and I got the job, and that was how I started. And
Right.
we started at Delaware 28. It was going very well. Everything kept going well. And then the company had issues, and they kind of dissolved, and they just backed out of
Okay.
the whole thing. And I was left to the show. And here I am in the middle of the deep blue sea. I didn't know what to do. But hey, as an entrepreneur, I always have a die-hard spirit. I
Right.
don't give up, especially when I put in my time and money and everything. So I just kept the show. I kept moving on, and they all hand off, and I just kept moving on, and God kept helping me, and I had a lot of support from the community, the Delawareans, a whole lot of our leaders, Stephanie, you know, Senator Stephanie and Nicole Poor, Commissioner Lauren Badley, just many of our leaders supported the TV show, the governor, Governor John Carney. I've had support from all over Delaware with the show, and it's been going on and still going on well, and God has been helping us. So the TV show is about building community champions, building leaders. And so we bring on the show, we bring people to inspire each other. We bring our political leaders to hold them accountable to Delawareans, what they're doing, because I believe that we put them there, and from every time in time, I bring them on the show to tell the people what they've achieved so far being on there, The show is about bringing entrepreneurs that are successful in their business to come share their secrets, just like as I'm doing now, being in real estate for the first time in less than, it's not even up to a year, and I'm rocking over 23 homes already, more than that. And so these are the stories I like to share, and I bring people that are successful to come tell other people what they did to get there, and just to inspire. And it's not just bringing them, it's the connection, it's the networking, and afterwards we make sure you carry on that relationship, and it will bring something into your life. So the TV show is international. Right now, we have another, I have Jerry Johnny, who actually broadcasts international news, what happens all over the world. So you can find that on our YouTube channel, The Jemimah Show.
Right. At one point, I believe you had interviewed, was the first lady of Ghana, if I'm staying corrected. She was the first lady of one of the
Gambia, yes.
Okay, yeah. Now, what was that experience like? Wow.
Yeah, yes. We've had a lot of great interviews. The first lady of Gambia, the ambassador of Namibia. We've had the head of the diaspora for Nigeria. We've had a whole lot of great political leaders. Even Len Schwarzman for cryptocurrency. We've interviewed him as well as many other people. So it's quite interesting. That was brokered and by the commission, It was brokered by the commission, Wale Adelagunja, who was the president then. The commission, the Delaware African Caribbean Affairs Commission, was always bringing people from Africa, leaders from Africa. So they were reaching out to leaders in Africa and bringing them to Delaware to do business like that. We have the Port of Wilmington and so many business transactions that importing and exporting services and stuff that they, wanted to collaborate with the Delaware. So it's just between the commission, the governor, the Delaware state. So within that opportunity, being a member of the commission, and the TV show was started by Mr. Wale Adelagunja, who was the president of the commission. So he, it was an opportunity for me to also communicate with these great leaders and also, get them to the world, because the show gives these leaders a platform to talk to their people in America. So that's what the show is. Our TV show, the Jemimah Show, is a platform where the top can communicate with the small can actually integrate and connect, and everybody becomes equal.
Right. On your resume, you have a lot of awards. You want to talk about some of the awards that you have earned?
Oh, okay. Like I said, I do a lot of things. I can't get bored. I mean, I have to be busy. It's just how my head is wired. I easily get bored, just not doing much. I just have to keep creating stuff. By God's grace, to the glory of God, I got a lot of awards. I had the ACHI Entrepreneur of the Year Awards 2018. I also got Toastmasters. I got 5 trophies from Toastmasters. I think I have over 12 awards already in my lifetime. Different big organization for my work as an author, as a writer, as a mom, as a creator, as even as a realtor. I also got early this year, shockingly, I got a social media Realtor of the Year award. So
That's awesome.
it's been interesting. I thank God for the awards. It's just I just keep creating. I always tell people, create your world.
Yeah,
You create your world. I mean, people don't have to create it for you. So you design it and you create it. God has created you, and the Bible says that we are made in the image and likeness of God. He made us in his image and likeness. God is a creator. So in other words, if he made us in his image and likeness, which means we are creators, okay? And that's why you have scientists. You see the COVID-19, we're trying to create a vaccine. It's human beings creating it. So God has created you for you to create things. So there are things that God has already put inside you for you to create, and he's not going to come inside you to create those things. You have the power to do it. So this is what I have to say to you. Rise up, get up there and create your world.
definitely, definitely. Now you mentioned that you're an author. What books have you written?
I'm a ghostwriter. I write a lot of books for people. For my own book, I've written The Money Machine. So as a young entrepreneur, I've done a lot of businesses. So especially, I mean, my book was just right in time for the COVID-19. I try to tell people businesses you can do from home. And these are things I did even while working as a CNA side hustle. So how you can do online businesses, and these are businesses you can create. I mean, graphic designs, web designs. You can actually design a website now on your phone. You can actually create designs, flyers from scratch to finish. So I did, I've done online classes for people. I've done trainings early this year. I did, how to create a video ads and a graphic design, two different classes, and I had over 460 students, international students, pay and sign up for these classes from all over the world in the middle of the pandemic. So this class was, I did one in June and I did one in July. It was all full to the extent I had to block the class. Yes, I had to close the class. It was international people from the UK, Germany, France, everywhere were in my class. It was really, really phenomenal class. So those are the things I put together in the book, and I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money doing these online courses. So in my book, I have the online courses you can create and just be selling. And I literally did that class with my phone, not a
Wow.
computer, with my phone. I created a Telegram group. My class was right on Telegram. I recruited on WhatsApp. I assembled everybody together, two groups on WhatsApp. And once I got their payment, I transferred everybody to Telegram, and they were all in one Telegram app. And I did the whole class right there. So with my phone, I was literally in Walmart teaching a class, typing and everything. And I was my account was getting a lot. So these are the things I've tried, and
That's
it's
technology. Technology is awesome nowadays.
I'm telling you, like, you can make a whole lot of money with your phone sitting right in your home. Actually, if you want to be an entrepreneur, and that goes to the question you asked me when we started. Like, at one point in my life, did I decide that I don't want to work for anybody? Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. That was when I decided that I became more creative until you say enough is enough, until you're tired of getting sick and tired, you can't take that move. And then when you take that move, I always say put your 110% on it. Don't just give your 100%. Sometimes 100% is no longer enough. You got to put
Right.
200. You got to put like
You can put
more and
overtime.
more.
Right. You have the skills and abilities to be a full-time motivational speaker. Have you ever thought about doing that?
Well, I am. Actually, I won 5 trophies for
Oh,
Toastmasters for
oh,
DMV. Yes. I'm a certified Toastmaster coach.
oh,
I'm
okay.
also a certified Toastmaster judge, contest judge. So anywhere there's a Toastmaster, I'm international certified Toastmasters speech contest judge. So if there is a contest in UK, I'm certified to be a judge to decide the winner. So that's how far I've upgraded. And as an entrepreneur, I continue to get education. I got education in Africa, but guess what? I came here, I started all over again. Because I mean, you learn every day. The day you stop learning, you start dying. So I mean, I'm actually a student at Wilmington University. I graduate in December. Actually, I'm doing my last class now as
Oh,
I'm
okay.
talking to you. So you continue to get this education. Yeah, I'm into public speaking. I own a women's ministry called Inspire Success Network. We do conferences, 4 conferences every year, but since the pandemic, we have not had any because our gatherings are big. So we've not had any because we don't want to, spread the virus. So hopefully we'll do a virtual. Yeah, so I do a lot of motivational speaking. I'm a coach and a licensed coach, and I'm honored to serve anytime.
Okay, now, what's your major at Wilmington University?
So my major with political science, economics and political science. Yeah, I love economics, like business, and political science. I I would say, like, I have the leadership thing in me. I just love to guide people. I love to mentor people. I love to, I'm an activist. I love to start a revolution. I love things done properly. I love things being organized. I just love to fight for righteousness and justice. I just hate injustice and cheating. So these are the things about me. And I find myself in political science. I did political science in Africa, and here I'm doing organizational management, working towards my political ambition.
There are those who are watching right now, and they're looking at Jemimah Chucks, and they're saying she's a mother, she has a family, she is an entrepreneur, she's a realtor, she's a talk show host. Does she have time to sleep? I mean, where she get her energy at?
I know, right? I do have enough time to sleep. Oh yes, I do. I get it. I get my 8 hours. I really do. And this is what I can tell you about time. You see, when you learn to plan, you have to, time is everything. A time lost can never come back. You don't own the time. You don't own it. Time is borrowed. And so what it means is, you see, today that I'm talking to you, once after today, this now will never come again. And so every time, once you begin to reason time as a precious component of life, a time as a necessity, once you begin to look at time as precious, then you begin to value yourself more, and you begin to pay attention to detail of, everything you're doing. For me, I have time for everything. Anything I want to do, I have time for it, because you make out time for what you love. That's how I see life. For your dream and your passion, you make out time for it. And so you say, oh, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. It's because you're not organized and you don't know how to plan. I mean, I go to church. I have time for church. I'm in church every Sunday. I have time for Bible study. I have time for 6 a.m. prayers. I have time to write my books. I have time for my 3 babies. I have a 9-month-old baby. I have time for my realtor business. I have time for everything that is important in my life. If you learn to apportion your time and have a plan and stick to that plan, you'll be able to move things around, and then you'll be able to move your life forward.
Right, right. So how proud, I mean, your family from Nigeria, they must be extremely proud of you, of all the accomplishments that you have made. I can only imagine.
Oh, to the glory of God. Yes, my parent, my mom, my dad is in heaven by God's grace. My
Oh,
mom is here, and they're very excited for me. They're very happy, and it's a great honor. It's I call it a privilege. I do not take it for granted, because it could have been anybody else, but God decided to favor me, and I'm eternally grateful to God for what he has made out of me and who he's making out of me, because I don't even know who I'm becoming, but only God knows. So every day I appreciate this Jemimah I'm seeing right now that I am, and I'm looking forward to the Jemimah I'm going to become tomorrow. So every day I appreciate every day the person I'm becoming, because I, like Michelle Obama, who's my mentor and my lady forever. She said becoming. So the woman I'm becoming, I'm not here yet. I'm not there yet. And do I know where? I do not know. But I have a glimpse of it. I have a vision. I have a goal. And every day it gets clearer. And as I get older, it gets clearer. As I get closer to God, I continue to see it, more clarity what God wants. So I continue to work in the will of God. And every day I say, God, please tell me what you want me to do today, and just help me to achieve just your will. I mean, I don't know what else I'm gonna do if it's not God.
right, right. Okay, so we have a couple minutes remaining in the program. I'm going to give you the opportunity to say any encouraging words of wisdom, or knowledge, expertise, anything you want to say. And if you want to leave your number for those who want to contact you if they're interested in buying or selling their home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. My name is Jemimah Chucks. I know you all know me. My number is 302-359-8337. You can follow me on Instagram. I would love to have you at the Jemimah Chucks. My Instagram page is at Jemimah Chucks. And then my Facebook, you can follow me all over. You can give me a call if you want to buy or sell a house. Encouraging word for you is to create your world. It doesn't matter where you're from. I was not born from a rich family. I was born from a humble background. My parents were, very poor pastors, and they just loved God, and that was all. And they just knew God, and that was all they wanted. My father was always thinking about heaven, even while here. He made it look like Jesus was going to come tomorrow morning, and I still believe he can come anytime. So my advice to people is, now that you're here, now that Jesus is not here yet, make the best out of your life and live your life, and live a reasonable, responsible life. And remember that, what you do today is what we're gonna use to remember you, and continue to create your word, regardless of how poor your parents are, regardless of the opportunities you never had, and your parents never gave you. Make sure that you provide those opportunities for your children. And so what you do today determines what your tomorrow will be like. And don't pay attention to naysayers, and your circle, the people you have around you, actually determines how far you're going. So if you look into your circle, and in the people around you, the inner circle, they're not the people that are where you want to go, you might as well just disembark and disengage everybody and start a new circle. And this is just what has worked for me. When I came, I found myself in the midst of a couple of people that were doing the same thing, and everybody wanted to be at the same level, but I knew something inside of me wanted more. I wanted more for my life. I wanted more from my husband. I wanted more from my children. And I just went out there, and I just broke the circle. Now, when you make decisions to leave some people, they're going to get offended, they're going to get jealous, but that's okay. But at the end of the day, you just make sure that you're successful. Niccolo Machiavelli says the end justifies the means, in a good context, because that could be overrated too. So at the end of the day, once you're successful at doing good stuff, it rubs off on even all those people that were your naysayers. They become your testimony sharers. They just go about saying good things about you, and they become your marketers in business. So when you start a business and no one supports you, don't get offended. Just continue pushing. The same people that weren't supporting you then will be the people marketing your business once you can break through. So, but if you can be consistent enough at doing that thing, and not minding the people, it could be your religious leaders. I mean, I had bad experience at the different churches I've been to when I came here. I had horrible experience with my pastors, and I had a pastor actually curse me out. I had a pastor actually suspend me for just hate. So, and that brings me to the issue of hate. So when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to encounter a lot of stuff. It's not a smooth, sweet journey. The people that you expect to support you and help you, once they see who you are and they see where you're going, they could do anything to stop you, but you better not stop. You better not let nobody stop you. You just got to stay focused and continue to push. At the end of the day, they are the same people that will go about their marketing you. Now I'm a realtor. Guess what? I've had some of those people that laughed at me, that cursed me out, that did all kinds of stuff in my church or where I was before. They're the ones sending me referrals. And when I ask these clients who sent you, they tell me the name of the person. I'm shocked. I'm like, who? So, just keep pushing and don't give up. Someday the business, will sell itself. Okay.
Right, Jemimah's she's living her best life, and she ain't got time to go back and forth. All right, Jemimah Chucks, I'd like to thank you this evening for being my very special guest. It was an awesome interview.
I appreciate that. I want to use this medium to shout out to my husband, Chucks. Thanks for your support. And I can tell you, I'm the woman I am today because of you. I met Chucks when I was 18. I didn't know anything. We got married when I was 22. And here I am. He brought me to this country, and he's actually my boss and my everything, and has been supporting me. And Omar, anywhere you see me, you see Chucks. So I want to shout out to my husband, and I love you. I celebrate you, sir. Thank you so much. And Omar, I want to shout out to you. Thank you, buddy. You've been such a great friend from the first day I came to your show, and look,
Yeah.
I'm here again. I really appreciate you, buddy, and I'm
No
very
problem.
grateful.
Likewise, and I thank everyone else for tuning in for Showtime TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. All right, Jemimah, we got to do this again sometime.
All right. Thank you, brother. Take care.
Take care.